Hello team and welcome back to the channel. So before starting the video, a small request, please subscribe to the channel. We upload videos on daily basis at 9 AM in the morning. Also, if you are interested in learning DevOps tools and technologies, then definitely subscribe. Okay, now coming to today's topic. So today we are going to build and deploy a basic application, Java based application, which will be using backend, frontend as well as database also. Okay, H2 database. Okay, so the flow of the pipeline will be, first we will keep our source code in GitHub, then using Jenkins we will compile the application, then we will run two security tools, which is SonarQube and Dependency check. SonarQube we will run to perform code quality check to make sure that we don't have any bugs or any other issues in our source code. Then we will do whole source code scan using OWASP dependency check, which will find out if there are any known vulnerabilities in our source code. Okay, then we will build our application using Maven again, and then we will create a Docker image using a Docker file, and then we will scan that Docker image using Trivy. Okay, so once everything fine, then using a Docker container we will deploy our application inside a Docker container. Now just to show you how what application I'll be using, so let me show you here. Let me start the application from beginning. Yeah, so basically it's a secret Santa application for matchmaking. Okay, so this is the first view that you will get as soon as application is started. Then you need to click on start. Once you click on start, it will ask you to add persons. For example, let's say I add my own name, Aditya. Then let's add another person name, for example Meena. Okay, so as of now you can see there are like 8 people added, so 4 are girls, 4 are boys. So what it does, it will randomly generate matches, like who will give secret presents to some other person. Okay, so if I click on generate match, you can see it has defined the details, like this person will give gift to this person will give gift to this person, like that. Okay, so this is a very simple application, yet it looks very nice. Okay, so this application we will build and deploy today. Okay, also the link to the application will be in the description, so you can get it from here. Meanwhile, I would request you to even follow me on GitHub, because I upload deployment ready projects on my account, and if you are following me, then you will be getting notified instantly as soon as I push any new repository. Okay, so with that being said, let's get started. Okay team, so Jenkins I have set up on 8081 port this time, because on port 8080 I want to deploy my application. Okay, so first of all we need to install some plugins so that we can use certain features. Okay, so in available plugins, let's search for JDK, and as I mentioned, always install Eclipse Temurian installer. Click on install without restart, and progress you can track here. Okay, one more plugin we need to install, which is SonarQube Scanner, so that also I will do. And next we need to use OWASP also for security analysis on our source code. Okay, so once these plugins have been installed, we need to configure them in our manage Jenkins global tool configuration. Okay, so here we will go global tool configuration, scroll down, and you can see JDK is option available. So we will install JDK 11, and here select install automatically, and select install from adoptium.net. Okay, so we are going to use JDK 11, so I have selected JDK 11. Scroll down, and here you can see SonarQube Scanner, the plugin that we just installed. Okay, so let's provide it a name, Sonar Scanner, and version I want to use latest only, so we will leave it as it is. Then scroll down, and we need to configure Maven also, because we are going to build a Maven based Java project. Okay, so I will select the version Maven 3, and here I will select 3.6.0. okay, then one last thing we need to configure, which is dependency check. So let's provide the name as DP, and version I want to use is 6.5.1, which is the one I have been using from quite some time. Okay, so click apply, and these settings have been saved. Now we can go back to here, and let's create our first declarative pipeline job. So as I mentioned, we are going to create secret Santa job, and I have already explained what it does. Okay, secret Santa generator. and here select option pipeline and click OK. And as I mentioned, discard old builds. To keep the maximum number of builds in history is 2. Okay, scroll down and here let's generate a template of hello world. Okay, now let me make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, so now first thing that we need to do is define our tools JDK in Maven so that it has a global scope. Okay, so we can do that by this method, tools curly braces, then format is first is JDK, which is the type of tool, and name of tool is JDK 11, which we just configured. Okay, then we have type of tool is Maven and name of tool is Maven 3. Okay, so tools we have defined. Next to first stage that we want to have in our pipeline will be git checkout. Okay, so we will do that, git checkout, and here we need to provide the script to fetch the source code from here. Also this source code is not mine, this belongs to some other person. I have just forked it. Okay, but basically this repository will be available to you. Okay, because also like I will be making some changes, like in this application they have showed how to just run the application using this command java-jar target application.jar. But what I am going to make changes as, like I want to deploy it using Docker. Okay, so that will be doing. Okay, next where were we? So yeah, okay, so to generate the script for git checkout, we can select the option pipeline syntax, open it, and here we will search for git. You can see this option git, and here we need to paste the repository URL. So let's copy this and paste it here. Okay, now branch name, what is the branch name? Branch name is master, so we will leave it as it is, and credentials won't be needed as it is public now. Then click on generate pipeline script. Okay, so script generated, we will copy this and paste it here. Okay, so first stage completed. Next what I want to do is compile the source code. Okay, to find out if there is any syntax based errors in our source code. Okay, so I have copied, and let's rename this to compile. Okay, so here we need to run the command using Maven that we will write inside shell, and command will be mvn clean compile. Spelling is correct. Okay, so 2 stages completed. Next stage we want to do is perform code quality check. So code quality check is usually done with a tool known as SonarQube. Let me show you. See, I have like configured this SonarQube using Docker on this server, port 9000. Okay, so basically what SonarQube does, it will perform a scan on your source code and find out if there is any issues in your source code. For example, bugs, then code smell, then vulnerabilities, then technical debt, these kind of things. If they exist in your source code, it will then SonarQube will generate a report and share with you on which section of the code it is having issues. Okay, which later can be fixed by developer team. Okay, so that we want to perform. So since I have copied, and let's rename the stage name. Okay, so I want to name it as SonarQube -analysis. Okay, this is done. Next we want to run SonarQube. So scanner to like SonarQube scanner we already configured in our global tool configuration, but as I always mentioned that when we need to use a new tool, we need to define it in our pipeline so that that tool can have a global scope. Okay, so here I will create an environment this, and here let's write it scanner_home. Okay, equal to tool, and the name of the tool that we have is sonar-scanner. Okay, so like we have defined our tool here. Now here we need to configure it. Okay, run this script command. So that also we will run shell, but since this time we are having a command that is multi-line command, so we will use, instead of double quotes, we will use 3 quotes. Okay, now we need to call the executable SonarQube scanner tool. Okay, so that how we will do, we will use a $, then scanner_home /bin/sonar-scanner. Okay, that is called. now we need to use some arguments to connect our Jenkins to SonarQube server. Okay, so for connection, basically we need two things. One is the URL, which is this one till 9000. Second, for authentication we need to have a token. Okay, so token you can generate by going to administration, security, users, then here click on this, provide the name, just anything you want, click on generate. Okay, now yeah, so here we will provide the argument as dsonar.url equal to the SonarQube URL, okay, which is this much. Copy this and we will paste it here, space. Then we need to provide the authentication token, which will be dsonar.login equal to the token that we have generated, which is this one. So let's copy and paste it here. Okay, next we want to provide a project name, so that will be dsonar.project name. Okay, and name I want it to be secret-santa. Okay, now coming to next line, by putting slash here, we will use another argument, which is dsonar.java.binaries to provide the path of like binaries file. So I will just put a dot, that means it is on root location. Okay, and final command we need to put, sorry, here d small, let me make it capital. Yeah, so final command I want to put is dsonar.project key. Okay, so for project key I will put the same name as I put for project name. Okay, secret-santa. Now we will close it by 3 this quotes. Okay, let me check if, yeah, so now everything fine. How many stages we have written as of now? 1 stage, 2 stage, 3 stage. Okay, what is the error? How many? 1, 2, what error is there? Okay, no error is there, sorry. Okay, so 3 stages we have written. Next, one more stage I want to write so that we can complete this pipeline in like less time. Okay, so next stage what I want to have is run an OWASP dependency check, which is basically done to find out commonly known vulnerabilities in your source code. Okay, so I will provide the name as OWASP scan. Okay, now tool we have already installed. As you remember, we have just configured it in our global tool configuration. Now the steps for it is basically a little bit different. Let me show you how it is there. Yeah, where it is, yeah, see, it is little bit different, but let me put it and let me explain it to you how exactly it works. Okay, so you can see here basically there are how many? 3 arguments. Okay, yeah, first argument, dependency check additional argument. So here you need to provide the path of folder or like file system where you want to perform the scanning, so which we can write as scan. Then I want to do it on /, because like that is the root path. Okay, next we have ODC installation, so we need to provide the name of installation that we configured in global tool configuration, and if you remember it was just DP. Next argument we have dependency check publisher pattern, which is basically referring to the format of the default report that will be generated. So you can see it is getting generated by the name dependency-check-report.xml. Okay, so these many stages completed. Okay, maybe we should just run it and let's see what happens. So once it gets successful, we can start with configuring next out steps, and the pipeline should start here. We can track the progress. Since we are running it for the first time, you can see Sonar Scanner, it installed. Second, it is installing JDK 11. Okay, so if you run it for the first time, it will take a little bit more time because it is going to install the tools that we have defined in our pipeline, as well as for the tool when we are like running them or executing them. So for if they are running for the first time, then also they will download so many dependencies, so that will take a time. Okay, now yeah, Maven is also getting installed. All 3 I have installed, which we defined in our pipeline. Next, cloning done. Next stage we have clean compile. So compilation it is doing for the source code. Okay, and next it is running the SonarQube's analysis. So if I scroll down, it is running, and quality profile that is being used is SonarWeb. These are the default quality profiles for different languages. So basically for 4 different languages, quality profile is being used. Okay, if I scroll down, we can see SonarQube analysis also succeeded. In case you want to see the report how it looks in SonarQube, we can go to SonarQube. Let's close this and go to projects, and you can see here the report has been generated. Total number of lines of code that was scanned is 352. We have 6 code smells in our source code and 3 bugs. Okay, if you want to see more detail, you can click on here and click on, okay, here itself we can see 1 security hotspot, 6 code smells, all those things. Okay, if I go to issues, you can see in more detail way this, like if I expand it, it will show you in what section of your source code the issue is occurring. Okay, so basically what happens over corporate side, that these issues get assigned to certain person. Okay, you can see as of now it is written not assigned. So these issues get assigned to certain person who is responsible for fixing this. Okay, so you understand like how useful SonarQube is. It will tell you exactly in what location like issue is there in your code, and then a specific person can like assign that part and fix it. Okay, so that's why I always say that these are security tools that like secure our pipeline, and that is supposed to be used always. Okay, so now seeing, okay, now basically it is running the last stage which we have configured, which is for OWASP dependency check. So for OWASP to work correctly, it needs to download certain database and as well as dependencies that contain the information of commonly known vulnerabilities. You can see it has started downloading from the year 2003. Each year is having a certain list of like details, commonly known vulnerabilities details, and once it downloads till 2023, it will match with our source code and try to find out. Okay, so let it run. Meanwhile, what we can do, we can configure next stages. Okay, so I will go to configure, scroll down, or also meanwhile, if you are still here learning this pipeline and if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. I know that you also know this is very useful, and I am like sharing with you the best pipeline, the complete fully fledged pipeline that you can share in your interview or somewhere else. Okay, so these many stages we have configured. Let me just make the C smaller. Okay, so next stage what I want to run is basically build the application. Okay, that we can do. So I will copy that stage and paste it here, and let's rename this. Also remember that no two stage can have same name, because if it is, then your pipeline will keep failing. Okay, so now we want to build our application. Okay, so for that we can run the command as maven clean install. In case you don't know what maven clean install does, it basically builds your application and package your application with dependencies and generates an artifact in the form of jar or var, which you are aware, I guess. Okay, and when we run the command as maven clean install, it will generate the artifact, put it in target folder inside your source code, which I will show you in a minute. Also it pushes those artifacts inside the local repository, which is a folder named .m2. Okay, so this stage is done. Next what I want to do is perform, basically I want to build a Docker image. Okay, so before building a Docker image, what I want to do as of now, as I mentioned, I just forked the application, but it does not have any Docker image. Okay, so I'm going to build my own Docker image, which I have created. Let me first of all, let's rename it Docker file. Okay, and then we can copy this. I have created, yeah, but actually I wanted you people to write your own Docker file, but still, since you are still learning, so I would like just requesting you that understand, and from next time try to write your own Docker file. That is the best, that is the only way you will like get a better understanding. Okay, so I will commit the changes. Okay, meanwhile, okay, these stages I have written. Next what I want to do is create a Docker image. Okay, so first of all, let's create a stage. Let's rename it to Docker build and push. Okay, now what you need to remember is when you want to run Docker commands, you need to create a script enclosure first. Okay, which will be in this format, script and curly braces. Inside this we will be writing our Docker commands. Okay, Okay, so for running Docker commands, first of all, you need to go to manage Jenkins, go to manage plugins, then go to available plugins and search for Docker. Basically, we need to install certain plugins, okay, which we are going to use in our pipeline. And these many I selected, click on install without restart, and progress of those plugins installation we can see here. Okay, so let's wait for a few minutes, and once it is completed, we can start with the configuring our next stage. Okay, meanwhile let me close this also. Okay, I think it is the plugin that we wanted is installed, so we can go to manage plugins, go to global tool configuration. Here we need to configure a Docker. Okay, still not there. Let me go to manage plugins and let's see if it is completed now. Install plugins, download progress. Yeah, it is completed now. If I go to global tool configuration now and scroll down, we should be able to see Docker. You can see right here. Let's give a name as just Docker and install. Always click install automatically. Okay, and select download from docker.com, and we want to use the latest version. Click apply. Okay, now this is configured, so we will close this and we will open again the pipeline syntax. Meanwhile I want to show you the pipeline that we ran before. You can see everything is success now, all 4 stages, right? Okay, now we want to configure the Docker stage. So here we need to find some option which says with Docker registry. Okay, scroll down and here you can see second last option with Docker registry. So we will select this. Since we are going to use Docker Hub public repository, so we don't need to provide any URL, but credential is still required. Okay, so for adding credential, you can just click on add, click on Jenkins, and here let's provide the username, which will be Adi Jaiswal in my case, Adi J-A-I-S, yeah, and password will be very secretive. Yeah. So here in description you can provide any description. I will just go with Docker creds. Okay, then click on add, and here as you can see the credentials are visible, so we will select it, and Docker installation we have just done is Docker. Click on generate and okay, so copy, and here we will paste inside our script enclosure. Correct? Okay, so next what I want to do is we want to first build. Okay, so building command against Docker is a like shell command, so we can run it using sh enclosure docker build -t, a name we want, so I will just provide as Santa. Okay, and then just a dot, because Docker file is on the root location, so we don't need to specifically provide the complete path. Okay, I think this should work. Okay, next what I want to tag the Docker image, so that we can do using this command docker tag, then old name which is Santa, and new name. So new name basically needs to be in a specific format. Format is first use your Docker Hub username, which is in my case this one, / any name you want. So I will go with Santa : and I want to use the tag as latest. Okay, so this is done, and similarly one more stage we will add, which is for pushing the Docker image. Okay, so I will run the command as docker push, and this is the image, new image name. Okay, see, just to make you understand like why we are tagging our image in this format, because in this format only Docker will know that where it needs to push. Okay, so I think this much is fine. We can click apply, saved, and now we build. Okay, so as we have already clicked on build, now it will start, and to see the detailed progress we can go to console output. Okay, meanwhile it is running. One more thing which I want to show you is Workspaces. So if I go on Workspaces, go to this link, and here you can see there is new folder generated, target, which contains our, what is that, the artifact. Okay, so let it run and let's see. Yeah, OWASP stage is running now. An artifact, basically in artifact it contains the jar file or WAR file, which I will show you in a minute. Okay, so see, now it is running this command maven clean install for the first time, so it will generate the artifact which I will show you. So let it run. Okay, okay, we are in Docker. Okay, we got error also. Okay, see, some error we got, that unauthorized. Okay, we will correct this, but first I want to show you two places. Okay, first is inside this target folder inside our workspace, this jar is created, and same jar is copied inside this .m2 folder, and .m2 folder is basically known as the local repository. Okay, so don't forget that. Okay, now let's correct our pipeline. Let's see. Okay, so maybe credential we need to update. Okay, so for updating the credentials, you can go to this home page, go to manage Jenkins, then go to manage credentials, and you can see the credential we have just added. So we'll click on it and click on update. Okay, so we will just check if everything fine. We will add it again, ADIJAISWAL. This is correct. Then we will check for password, and let's do that as well. ADIJAISWAL. Okay, so password will be this. Yeah, save, and let's. Okay, we have saved now. So let's try to run it now. Okay, click on build now, and it should start. Meanwhile, here also you can see this is the graph generated using OWASP dependency check. Okay, so as of now, I guess it did not find any vulnerabilities or any common like issues in our source code, so there is nothing in the graph. Okay, so yeah, let's track the progress of our pipeline. The SonarQube stage is running now. See, whenever I get error, I guess it is useful for you, because at least you know one issue that may occur and you can fix it anyways. Okay, so this is also completed. Now maven clean install is running. See, I hope like whatever I am telling you, you are literally understanding it and noting it down, and you will remember those things. Whatever I told, be it like about the artifact being into the target folder, as well as, okay, see here you can see now it succeeded in login because there was some credential issue, I guess. Okay, now it is building our Docker image and it has tagged also. Now it is pushing. Okay, so one more thing I want to show you is where can we see the Docker image. Okay, so Docker Hub, if I go to this place, we need to basically log in, and then we should be able to see our newly created Docker image. Okay, so it is there, and here you can see Santa last pushed few seconds ago. If I open it, tag was latest, which we can see here. Great. Okay, that means our job is success. Now one last stage is pending, which is to deploy the application. So without waiting, let's do that as well. Okay, it's like a speed run, feels like a speed run, that we are doing things so fast. Okay, so I will copy this and paste it here, and here we need to change the stage name, which will be Docker deploy to container. Okay, because we are going to deploy our application inside a container. Let me remove these two stages, and in here we need to provide the deployment command. Okay, so that goes something like this: docker run -d to run in detached mode, or basically like logs to keep in background, and -name, which I want to give as Santa 1. Okay, and then port, so port I want to keep as 8080, host port and container port 8080. Then we want to put the image name, so image, latest image which we have just pushed is this one, so let's paste it here. Okay, so this is done, and this should work. Hope this works. Okay, so yeah, you can see these many stages we are using in our pipeline, and these are like quite a lot of stages. Okay, so progress we can again track here. You can see SonarQube stage is running, Okay, it should be completed in few seconds. Okay, yeah, it's completed. See, every time I run SonarQube analysis, if I go back here, go to projects, okay, some issue is there. No, nothing. Okay, see, you can see last analysis 22 seconds ago, which is fine. Okay, so it is running now. Maven clean install. Okay, after Maven clean install, it will run this docker build and push, and finally it should be able to deploy the application. Okay, so docker build and push has started. Just to check if there is no images running here. Okay, just one image is there, which is fine, which is of SonarQube. Okay, yeah, so docker build and push is running, and if I scroll down here, we can see it is able to deploy our application. Okay, now to access the application, what we can do, we can go to browser. Let's copy the IP address of our server, copy it and paste it here, :8080, and now let's see. Yeah, great. So you can see the application is deployed successfully. We are able to access it. Here we can add names. Okay, let's add few names and let's see if it works. Okay, this many names are fine. Now let's create matches. Yeah, so you can see matches are fine. It is running good. Okay, so great, we are able to deploy our application successfully, and you can see these many stages we are having, which is quite good. Okay, so that's all for today, and I hope this video was useful. If it was, then give it a like. Also, if you are new on my channel, make sure to subscribe. Okay, so thanks for watching.